Good morning, students. So we were studying group theory, spectroscopy and diffraction methods, which is CH424. Now we have already studied about different symmetry operations and symmetry elements. Now today we are going to see how we can use those things to find out the point group symmetry of a molecule. The point group symmetry of a molecule is very important to know because from this point group symmetry actually we can understand a lot of molecular information, a lot of molecular properties like the spectral properties, the molecular orbital theories, etc. we can well explain from this point group symmetry. And for doing that one we need not to study the molecules separately, like water and H2S we need not to study separately, but as both of them actually belong to C2V point group. So looking into the point group itself, we can say that what would be the spectroscopic property of the water and the H2S molecule. So basically through the point group we are categorizing the molecules, we are grouping them. Now for finding out the point group symmetry of a molecule, we need to follow few sequences. The first of all, we need to find out whether the molecule is having a C infinity axis. C infinity axis, as for an example, let us explain like the HCl molecule. HCl molecule looks like a cylinder. Now if you pass a symmetry axis through the midway of the cylinder, then even a small angle of rotation will produce you the indistinguishable structure of the HCl molecule. So we can say that actually the molecule is having C infinity axis. So any linear molecule will be having a C infinity axis. So if the molecule is having C infinity axis, look whether it is having I. If it is having I, look, if it is having I, the molecular point group is D infinity H, like hydrogen molecule. Hydrogen molecule also looks like a cylinder. So this is molecule is having a C infinity axis. Not only this, the molecule is going to have an inversion center at the point, and that is this particular inversion point is the specificity of the homonuclear diatomic molecules, not the heteronuclear diatomic molecules. Not only that, this inversion center and the C infinity axis actually makes sure that it is having infinite number of perpendicular C2s to this C infinity axis. So the point group of a homonuclear linear molecule would be D infinity H. If it does not have an I, then the point group would be C infinity V. D infinity H means it is having C infinity axis and then having infinite number of perpendicular C2s and then also it is having a horizontal plane. Similarly, if it is not having a I, like the example of the HCl, then along with the C infinity axis, it is not having any kind of perpendicular C2s, but it is having along with the C infinity axis, it is having infinite number of sigma V planes. So the point group is C infinity V. So the linear molecule with a point of inversion will be D infinity H, and without a point of inversion would be C infinity V. If it does not have a C infinite axis, then find out whether it is having Cn. If yes, you can look for the C5 axis. If yes, you can look for the I. If yes, it is going to give you the icosahedral. This IH, TD, OH, these are all of a point group of a very high symmetry. If it is not having a C5, then find out whether it is having 3C4 axis. If yes, find out whether it is having I. If yes, then it will follow the octahedral point group. If no, again, if the Cn axis is there but C5 is not there, C4 is not there, find out whether it is having C3, and that is also 4C3. If it is yes, find out whether it is having an I. If yes, it can go to TH. If I is not there, then find out whether it is having sigma planes. If yes, it will go to the tetrahedral point group. And if still sigma group is also not there, then it will go to the T. This T is all this T, TD, TH, OH, icosahedral, all these point groups are having a very large number of symmetry elements. So we say these are the molecules, these are the point groups of very high molecular symmetry. Now, if even the C3 is, the 4C3 is not there, then if 4C3 is not there but C3 is there, then find out whether it is having n perpendicular C2s. If it is having n perpendicular C2, then you first look for the sigma H. If the molecule is having a sigma H plane along with the n perpendicular C2, the point group is DNH. DNH. Like it may have a C4 axis, but it doesn't fall under the molecule of the higher point group symmetry, but along with the C4 it is having 4 perpendicular C2, then the point group would be D4H. We will come to the example very soon. Just let me explain you. Like BF3 molecule. BF3 is a planar molecule. Let me consider that the molecular plane is XY. Now you will have a C3 axis along Z, which will produce you a similar identical structure. So the molecule is having a C3 axis. Definitely not 4 number of C3 axis, but it is having a C3 axis. Then look for whether the molecule is having n perpendicular C2s or not. That is, whether 3 perpendicular C2 is there or not. Now the C3 axis direction is along Z, but if you look, there is one C2 axis along X and along Y, along every F, which will produce, if I rotate the molecule around 180 degree, this fluorine would be coming over there and that fluorine would be coming over here, so producing an identical structure. So we can get a C2 over here. This C2 is in the XY plane, so definitely this is a perpendicular to the principal axis C3. So if I get one perpendicular C2, then by the molecular symmetry we understand we are going to get 3 perpendicular C2s. So the point group, now so the point group definitely would be D, and point group would be D3. Now we have to look for sigma h, that is the horizontal plane. So my C3 is along z axis, but if you look at that, there is a horizontal plane which is the molecular plane itself that would produce me the identical structure. Hence the molecule is having one sigma horizontal plane, so the point group should be D3H. Now if there is no perpendicular C2, then look for S2N. If yes, it would be S2N. If it is having a n perpendicular C2 but there is no sigma h is present over there, then look for whether this is having n sigma v or not. N sigma v or not. If yes, then the molecule, would be DND group. If no, then the molecule would be DN. So whenever you have a C3, or you can have a not only C3, you can have any rotational axis CN. So I can write it as CN. So you have a CN and you have N perpendicular C2, then automatically the point group becomes a D. If you have a sigma h, first you have to look for the sigma h. If there is sigma h, it would be DNH. If sigma h is not there, look for sigma v's, it would be DND, otherwise it would be DN. Only you have to look at that this CN is not the consequence of the SN axis where n is even. It's a unique, the CN axis should be the unique CN axis. Okay, so if the S2N is also not there, look for the sigma h. If yes, then it is CNH. That is, I am having CN axis but I am not having any perpendicular C2, but I am having a sigma h value, sigma h molecular symmetry. Then the point group would be CNH. Similarly, if sigma h is not there, look for n sigma v planes. And as we have studied in the last class, that if CN axis is there and if you get only one sigma v, automatically by symmetry condition there would be n sigma v's present in the molecule. So if that is the case, the point group would be CNV. And if that is not there, then the point group would be CN. So CN, so we have understood that when the CN is there and the n perpendicular C2s is there, the molecular point group would be named as D. If the n perpendicular C2 is not there, the molecular point group should be named as C. So it can be CNH, it can be CNV, it can be C1. Here there is one more thing. If there is no CN axis, then what would happen? Then look whether there is any sigma plane. If yes, the point group would be CS. And if there is no sigma is also not there, look for whether there is any I. If yes, the point group should be CI. If no I is also there, then the point group would be C1. So C1 is the molecular point group of the least molecular symmetry, which doesn't have a CN axis, which doesn't have a sigma, that is a plane of symmetry, which doesn't have an inversion center, etc. So with this background, now we are in the verge of finding out point groups, symmetries, point groups of different molecules. Let us take as an example. The first one is the water. So water, first you can see that there is a C2 axis which passes through the oxygen, and as you know that water is a planar moiety, is a planar geometry. So it is having a C2. it doesn't have any perpendicular C2. So that means the point group symmetry cannot be D, it can be only C. Now if you look here, there is a plane of symmetry through the oxygen. Now if the molecular plane is XY, so there is an XZ plane. There is an XZ plane. Through the plane, if we take a mirror image, this hydrogen will go to this hydrogen and this hydrogen will come to this hydrogen to give me an identical structure. So I can have one sigma V. Why it is sigma V? Because your C2 axis is along X axis. So the plane is XY plane. So that plane is actually containing the C2 axis. So the plane which contains the principal axis calls as a sigma V plane. So if you have one sigma V plane, the symmetry relationship makes sure that it is having two sigma V plane. So it is having E C2 sigma V prime. The other sigma V is the molecular plane itself, that is the XY plane. So one sigma is the XZ plane, the other sigma is the XY plane. So there are two sigma V's, one C2, that would lead rise to the molecule to be C2V point group. Here again, dichloroethylene, let the molecular plane be the XY plane. Now if you look here, there is a C2 axis which is along the Z axis, through which if you rotate the molecule, this chlorine will come over here and this hydrogen will go over there. So it is having a C2 along Z axis. Once we find out that there is a principal axis, then we have to look for whether there is any perpendicular C2 or not. The perpendicular C2, the principal axis is along Z axis, so the perpendicular C2 would be along X axis and along Y axis. Now there is no C2X and no C2Y, because if we rotate the molecule, C2X would be passing through this one. If we rotate the molecule, hydrogen will come over chlorine and chlorine will come over, go to hydrogen place. So that means that is not going to give me any identical structure. So that is not a symmetry operation. So we are not going to get any perpendicular C2. Once we don't get a perpendicular C2, the point group would be in C. Now we have to look for whether there is horizontal plane. Horizontal plane is the perpendicular plane to the principal axis. The principal axis is along C2Z. So the XY plane is the horizontal plane, which actually gives me an identical structure, and definitely that's a symmetry operation. So it is having a sigma H operation. So and it is having I as well, because C2 into sigma will ensure that there is I. So the point group is going to be C2H point group. Now the similar structure let us do, but here let me replace the chlorine by hydrogen. That is a simple ethylene molecule. Here if you look, the C2Z exists. Other than that, the C2X and the C2Y, they also exist, because you can rotate the molecule here as well 180 degree or here as well 180 degree. So that means I'm going to have three C2 axes. So any one of them can be considered to be the principal axis. Now when there is the principal axis, the n values are the same for all the axes, then any one of the axes can be taken as a principal axis. If that is not the case, then the n value which is higher in number should be taken as the principal axis. So here we are having three C2 axes, so definitely the point group has to be D2. Now as let me take the C2Z as the principal axis, then definitely we are going to have the horizontal plane, that is the molecular plane, to be as one of the symmetry operation. So the point group has to be D2H. Okay. The next example is ammonia. Ammonia is not a planar molecule. Ammonia with its lone pair is a kind of tetrahedral molecule. Now if you look that there is a C3 axis passing through the nitrogen. So there is one C3 axis. Other than that, there is no perpendicular C2. If this is my z axis along x and along y axis, the perpendicular C2s are not the symmetry operations. But then there is a plane which passes through nitrogen and any one of the hydrogen. Any one of the hydrogen, if you consider, this particular plane, then this is actually a sigma v operation, because h1 would be reflected to h3, h3 would be reflected to h1. So we have got C3, E is always there. We have got C3. Then as we have got one sigma v, then obviously we are going to get 3 sigma v's. So we are going to get 3 sigma v's. So the point group should be C3v. Here this example also remind us about the equivalent atom and the equivalent element. The C3 molecules, if you remember that that in the BF3 molecule actually the C3 axis was mixing all the C2 axis and all the C3 axis. Here as well, the C3 axis, when it is rotating, the sigma V1 plane, the other plane which is passing through hydrogen 1 and the other plane which is passing through the hydrogen 3, the 3 sigma V's get mixed up with each other by the operation C3. So they would form a class and they can be considered as equivalent elements. This is chloroethane, and in one of the staggered conformation. Sorry, one of the eclipsed conformation. If you look into here, in this particular conformation, the molecule is not having any CN axis, but the molecule is going to have one sigma plane. Through this plane, if you reflect, this hydrogen is going to be reflected over there and this is going to be reflected over there. So the only one symmetry operation that is going to exist in this particular molecule is the sigma. So the point group would be CS. Now, the example of this particular coordination complex of the cobalt, where 5 of the coordination has been satisfied by ammonia and 1 is the chlorine one. Now, if you look into the symmetry operation of this particular molecule, there is a C4 axis. Now if you rotate the molecule 90 degree by this particular axis which passing through ammonia, cobalt and chlorine, then this nitrogen is going to come over there, this nitrogen is going to come over there, and this is there. So that means they are going to be mixed up. So the molecule is having C4. Now one thing I must mention it here, that while you are finding out the symmetry operations, you may see that the molecule is having, like just in benzene, we have seen that one C6 operation is generating C3 and C2. Similarly, here as well, through this axis, a C2 is also passing, but that C2 is the consequence of the C4 operation, because this C4 means C41, C42, C43, C44, while C44 is nothing but the E. What is the C42? C42 is 90 degree twice, so that means 180 degree. So this is a C2. So that means the C4 is going to generate one coincident C2 along with it, but we are not going to consider this C2 as a symmetry operation. We would consider the C4 as the principal axis, because N value is higher over there. The C2 is the generation or the consequence of the C4 operation. So there is one C4 of course. Now there is definitely no perpendicular C2, because if your molecule, if the molecular plane where all the four ammonia groups are there, that is X, Y and this is the Z, then any one of the X and Y in any one of the axis, if you do 180 degree rotation, this ammonia will come over chlorine and the chlorine will go over ammonia. That is not a symmetry operation. So it does not have any perpendicular C2. So if does not have any perpendicular C2, then definitely the point group cannot be D, it has to be C4. Now we have to look whether there is any horizontal plane or not. Horizontal plane means again the plane would be in the XY plane where the four ammonia groups are there. Of course there is no horizontal plane, because ammonia is getting reflected to chlorine and the chlorine is getting reflected to ammonia. Then what about a sigma V operation? Do we get any sigma V over there or not? If you look here, we are going to get 4 sigma V's over here. So we are going to get E, C4 and 4 sigma V. So the point group would be C4V. I think with all these different examples, the consequence, the sequence of finding out the point group symmetry of a particular molecule is well explained to you. More you practice, more you can get information and more you would be expert in finding the point group symmetry, and that would bring confidence in you. So my advice is that you find out several examples from your textbook and try to carry on the symmetry operations and try to find out the point group symmetry of those elements. From here we are going to start in the next class, where we are going to discuss about the matrix representation of the point group symmetry. Thank you very much.